Welcome to the Man to Man call, gentlemen. Our topic is how to inspire and attract her feminine attention. Whether you're separated right now, maybe she doesn't know what she wants in a relationship with you, maybe she's confused and shut down and has felt betrayed for a long time. Maybe she's rewriting the past as if you were the bad guy, the villain, and you would love to be able to inspire and attract her feminine attention again. And that's what we're opening up here today. Those of you that know my work and the work of Great Men Move Mountains, we have the Staircase of Intimacy, my free 45-minute audiobook that I recorded with Cynthia Cruz, of course, is on our website. You can go to greatmenmovemountains.com/free audiobook if you'd like to grab that 45-minute audiobook, The Staircase of Intimacy, greatmenmovemountains.com. So that's Staircase of Intimacy is about growing safety and trust and building a shared adventure together. And the three stairwells of the Staircase of Intimacy, as I say, are verbal and emotional intimacy. That's number one. So emotional intimacy. Number two is a shared vision. So vision together. And number three is physical intimacy. And as we very well know by now, at least in breath, that yes, we know women would want emotional intimacy. Yes, we now know, especially if you've read any books in this field, that we need to cultivate and guide a vision, a shared vision, one that she wants to be a part of, but that we're not trying to force her to create herself. We're not asking her to guide us. We have a vision of what we want and where we're taking, let's say, the leadership within the relationship and intimacy in the relationship. And then how to cultivate physical intimacy, especially from a place of pain and hurt from the past. So here on the Man to Man meeting, of course, we want to live life with freedom and passion. We want to feel free to be confident within ourselves, no matter what's happening. We want to feel the freedom to make the most important promises to ourselves. And so as far as where you feel your challenges are within these three stairwells of the Staircase of Intimacy, take a look into the chat. Said 3 right now: physical intimacy, physical mainly, shared vision 2, physical intimacy. We've got a number 1, the verbal and emotional. Another physical intimacy, depending on the woman. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Verbal and emotional, and also verbal and emotional. Keith, come on in. Let's let's dive into depending on the woman first. How many women are you rotating right now? Are you able to come in? Yeah, come on in. How many women are you seeing right now?
Hold on a second. Alexa, stop the timer.
He's got to shuttle one woman out of the room right now before he.
Now, Sue, I'm seeing a new woman, and I'm just since I've ended my marriage, whatever. Anyways, I'm fine. I'm rusty. I feel like I'm very rusty. But when a woman is like she's used to what I call normal,
Yeah.
physical intimacy, I'm fine. So, but I have a woman now. She wants to go slow, and I like kind of shut down. I'm just like because I'm just not used to that. I don't know,
Yeah.
almost. So for me, I've been thinking, and I'm gonna see her tonight. So I'm like, okay. I'm like thinking in my head. I started getting all these thoughts of what's my strategy, and I'm like, no, 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 no. There is no strategy. There's no strategy at all. So I just thought about the things that she likes to do. She likes to dance and all that. She's a dancer. And I think I just need to be in my body and just, I want to be able to lead in the situation. So I think right now, what I'm focusing on and when I see her is that I make sure I'm in my body and so I'm able to read the situation a lot better and I don't shut myself down. But that's what I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for getting us started, Keith. I've definitely been in your spot. It's been going on 10 years ago now, having just ended the relationship with my ex. Yeah. And then started dating other women. And I don't know if this is what you mean, but my body wasn't reacting in the way that I would have hoped. Like sometimes my erections, I couldn't keep erections. Sometimes I was interested in a woman, but my body wasn't really reacting. Like nothing was responding except for my brain. Even I was in. So when you talk about slowing down, and be as detailed as you like, right? Tell us whatever you're comfortable for. So where do you find the challenge to be when you said in your body? So did you get up in your head, or where did you find the challenge to be?
The challenge, I think, it probably has to do more with what I think the atmosphere is now. Like the last time, before my marriage was 2000, 2002. So it's been that long. It was a different environment. So I think I get in my head that when she told me she wanted to take it slow. So for me, I'm just like, okay, like what does that mean for me? Because I'm like used to, just if I see a sign, going for it, and I have no problem going for a kiss or leading or being. I can be aggressive at times, and I don't mind doing that, and that's more my speed. So when she tells me she wants to take it slow, I'm just like I was throwing a curveball, and I felt like I just shut down my advances, you know.
I see. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking
So
about go
I
slow in the act of sex, but you're talking about even getting to sex. She's trying to say, I want to go
yeah,
slow.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Yeah.
tonight, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, with men that are on the other side of divorce
Mhm.
who decide that they want to, I don't want to phrase this, they want to lean into being around a woman's energy more slowly. They want to learn about themselves as they start to be around women again. Because with their, with your ex, y'all may not have had time to practice much of this work with her. Either she
Mhm.
was, done, or she just like shamed you, and there
Right.
was really no opportunity to practice these things. So as men move into dating, they want to practice even being around a woman. And the men that want to take it slow, the men that aren't in a rush to have sex, have abundance with women, and usually the women are increasingly even more eager to be with them physically.
Right.
The more you really are detached from intimacy, like sex in particular, intercourse in particular.
Mhm.
But so what do you want? With all that said, Keith, what do you want right now in your exploration with women right now?
Well, before I met this woman, I just wanted oh mostly physical intimacy and fun. That's about it. And this woman that I'm with now, like I want those things too, but she also brings emotional intimacy. She's very emotionally intelligent, like which is very attractive, very extremely feminine, which is extremely attractive, and she's physically attractive, extremely physically attractive, face, body, and so for me, I don't know. With this lady, I want to take it slow, but I can feel the tractor beam.
Yeah, and the tractor beam means means you want to get it on. Is that what you mean?
Well, I feel the tractor beam on that, and also the emotional tractor beam, both of them. You know,
Okay. Is this the first woman that you've dated at all?
no, no.
Okay. So do you have any concern around, rebound? Like when you say emotional tractor beam, I'm wondering, hey, is Keith like getting sucked in
Yeah,
more than you want to?
maybe, but not really. I think I'm far removed from that. I think I've already had like a rebound already, but I could be wrong. So, but I don't think this would be a rebound thing. But I don't know. I
Okay.
just I just want to one make sure I stay away from getting in my head about what I was just talking to you about and the where the relationship would be going.
I mean, are you already at talking about relationship?
Oh, no, I just mean like the relationship, meaning if it's just physical or if it becomes a full blown relationship, period.
I see. So are you clear with what you want? I mean, if you want fun, if you're not boyfriend material right now, if you want to experience adventure with her and sensuality with her, are
Yeah,
you
I have been clear with her, but I mean, in a lot of ways, if I write, I've written down what I want from a woman, right? And I would say she ticks about just every single box, thus far. So, so I think that I'm pretty close to being too far in my head, and I just am trying to make sure that I don't go too far. In the thinking process. I already know that I am right now. I just want to remain in my body and just take it as it comes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you have a question in particular, Keith, about the situation?
N- No, well, I mean the slowing down thing. I think I got it now, but I mean for me that's a more difficult thing being a more aggressive person, and it always has been. So, you know,
Sure, right. So her feeling your attraction to her is not a bad thing.
right?
Her her giving you a boundary and sort of testing what kind of man you are is very natural. She wants to see if you're going to flip out and, like be dangerous. Basically, she gives you
Right.
a boundary. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But for your own self, you're also kind of if I'm hearing you correctly, you're kind of insinuating, oh, I'm thinking about relationship maybe more than I should be. And to be aware that masculine and feminine polarity, the feminine is the energy that's concerned about the relationship. You want the woman to be more concerned about moving the relationship forward than you are to
Right.
keep her natural instinctual desire, right? So for you, really, at this stage, you want to be thinking she's gotta move mountains. She's gotta like raise the tides, and she's got to freeze hell over for you to consider any type of relationship at all, period.
Right.
Basically, she needs to knock your socks off for you to even consider a relationship. Your job is to have fun and to set up, fun time with her and fun exchanges with her, including fun emotional exchanges, including fun out in the world that doesn't have to include necessarily sex, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like you're brand new in the field, man. So welcome to welcome to the field. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who else is out there dating right now? I know Lou's dating, right? Who else is Nevin? Are you dating right now? Like Lou, can you come on in and talk about she wants to take it slow? What do you think about that Keith was saying?
I don't, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just having just like fun, casual dates, right? So like, there isn't really these, I'm not having discussions about taking it slow or fast or anything like that. I'm just out having a good time. But in the same respect, like I'm not in any hurry either. Kind of what you said, like, yeah, you got to bring it to the table too, or I'm not really interested, right? Like I've come out on the other side of this. I got things to do. I'm busy. I got a lot of things that I'd like to do. Like I want to spend time with other people, with women, but not necessarily at the expense of like my time either. But no, so I wouldn't even say I'm dating, right? Like I went on one date with this with this woman, and and we've been texting a little bit back and forth and stuff, and trying to go on another date, and it's looking pretty good. But yeah, like I just enjoy being around her. You know what I mean? Like I think she's interesting. Have a good time when I'm with her, and just funny, and that's all I'm really looking for. So
Sure, absolutely.
kind of like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, very cool, of course. So in the chat, you put number one. So what is it about verbal and emotional intimacy that feels like a challenge, or what's that story in your mind?
Well, so kind of on that same vein of what you mentioned earlier, where like some of us didn't necessarily get a chance to practice any of this stuff. Like my ex-wife now, she was pretty much checked out by the time that I even thought I had a handle on this stuff. She was like, I'm done. And we were already living separate houses, separate lives by that point. So I didn't necessarily get a chance to like try any of this stuff, practice any of this stuff, work through it. And a lot of it was just, I think, too, like my confidence was really low at the time, right? Because there was a time when we had those things, my ex-wife and I, and over the years it was degrading. Like there were issues, right? But it wasn't like any core tenet was missing or anything like that. And but just towards the end, I was basically just like I had like no confidence in myself that I could do any of this stuff, and I certainly wasn't getting any kind of positive feedback from her. She was just like, no, I'm checked out,
Right.
shut the fuck up. I'm not hearing
Yeah.
it. Like whatever you're selling, I'm not buying.
Right.
Which is fair. Like that's totally fine. So yeah, just like, I mean, being more honest and open with myself is kind of like that first
Hmm.
step, I think, or that's what I feel. And then how does that translate into a connection with another person, a woman, because obviously, like, I don't want to just jump in and say, hey, here's all of my stuff, my baggage,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know what I mean, or anything like that. Just maybe what's the line? I don't know. I think just being open and honest, and just kind of about who I am, and like and what I want has been a good place. Like that's where I've been going. But I don't know, man. I don't know if there's anything I'm looking for specifically. I'm kind of at this like, oh, maybe I'll just figure it out as I go along, or I won't. I don't know yet. I haven't really gotten that far. I haven't really gotten that far
Sure.
yet, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm glad we're talking. You took me up to your edge of practice, really, and that's where you are. That's honest. I appreciate it. So there's a book, Dating Essentials for Men by Robert Glover. It's another book of his, not No More Mr. Nice Guy, but Dating Essentials for Men. And it's a great book. I definitely recommend it to anybody. It can be utilized in relationship too. But the second half of the book is more specifically about beginning dating again. And one thing he recommends is to go on 10 dates, like half an hour long, either coffee or one glass of wine, this kind of thing, to go on 10 small dates after you end a relationship, so that number one, you can get your feet wet again. You can learn about new types of women. Maybe you've not been with types of women that you'd like to be with. It's been 20 years since you were out, like Keith was saying, this kind of thing. And to also be a good ender with women, being able to not see them again or say, hey, thank you, it was great to meet you. I don't see this going anywhere, but I wish you well in life, kind of thing. And she may say the same to you, right? And so you get at least 10 reps of meeting women, whether you see any of them again or not. That's one thing he recommends. And I give that assignment, if you will, to the men I work with as well. It doesn't need to be, I think he says 10 dates in 10 weeks, which is very possible. 30-minute dates, very doable. You could do a bunch in one weekend. Yeah. But the main thing is to, yeah, the main thing is to ask. You have to be able to ask and follow through with 10 women, which takes practice and guts, right? And forthright effort. It takes being good with yourself, as you were saying, emotionally good with yourself, knowing what you want. To even go out and do this, you have to know that's something that you want to now do versus, let's say, spend more time alone, right? Getting good at being alone. And then getting good at telling women early that you don't want to see them again, basically, so that it's not leading anyone on, it's not leading you on, or them on, and you can get over the nice guy tendency of trying to appease them or think that you can never make a woman upset, or you can never say something that a woman might perceive as negative. It's all those things combined. Yeah. And if I may, it sounds like you're kind of in that phase. Hey, it's time to practice the art of dating. Not necessarily trying to find a particular woman, but the art of dating, really. Is that fair to say, Lou?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, so I'm moving back east as in a few months too. So I hadn't really even just this one kind of just like stumbled into,
Gotcha.
if that makes sense. Like I wasn't really out there shopping or anything like that. It was just kind of like this natural progression, and then I was just like a couple days later, I was like, damn, I really had a nice time talking to this woman. I'm gonna ask her out, and it just went from there. It was actually, I posted on the Mentoring Men. It was her.
Yeah, that same girl,
When
right?
she was
Yeah.
like, yeah, and she was like, oh, I'm busy. But she got back. She got back to me like a month later. I was like, hey, I still want to do this. I've just been super busy with work and
Oh,
life and
okay.
stuff. And she does, like, she goes travels and stuff like that. She's like big in like solo travel and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to Mexico next week, but when I'm back, let's get together. So I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
cool.
That's cool. I thought she blew you off for a month and then said I'm busy. No, okay.
Yeah, well, I thought she did too. Like, I didn't even think she was going to get back to me. You know what I mean? And then like a month later, I was like, holy shit, I kind of completely forgot about that.
Well, that's cool. You must have made a good impression, man. Yeah. So where are you moving back to?
Actually, right in Spen's neck of the woods.
Well, hey, congrats, man. Exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. This is from the book Dear Lover by David Data. This is simply one opening entry to chapter 10 here. And in this book, it's written from a man's point of view to a woman, and she's his lover. So the voice that's speaking is the man that's speaking to a woman, either to her directly, so let's say literally, or in spirit or in energy. Maybe he's saying it in his mind to her, or into the space as he builds his intention of relationship. He builds his ideal. What is he shooting for? How do I sort of script out the story of what I would like to cultivate with her? How do I learn more about that for myself? And that's what this excerpt is about. So I'm going to read this to us and we'll bounce back. Chapter 10. Offering, is she offering or is she betraying her heart? As much as I love you, he says to her, we are not alone. Through loving you, I have learned to open my heart and feel everyone's heart. Their love is my joy, as is yours. Their suffering is my suffering, as is yours. Just as I am committed to loving you open to God, I am compelled to claim the world as my lover, who I must do my best to enter and open to God. And again, God means whatever it means to you, into achievement, into ambition, into blooming in the universe, into unfolding my fate, into God's mission. Whatever words that you put to it, that's what he's intending here. How am I opening her into depth? How am I compelled to feel I want to open the world into depth as well? He goes on, I'm afraid at times to enter you and the world. I shrivel and seek refuge in private comforts. I can feel your response to my offering or my lack. When I shrink and hold back my gifts, your face shows pain. When I feel through my fear and offer everything I can for the sake of opening you and the world to God, then your face shines with love's brightness. And of course, right, gentlemen, we would love for her face to shine with love's brightness. I see everything in you. I see my fear and courage reflected in your face, but I also feel everyone's resistance and invitation reflected in your body. So he's acknowledging that she's bringing forward stuckness, pain, trauma, the demands of life, insecurity, shame. She's bringing those forward within her body through resistance or lack of invitation as well. He says, you are so sensitive, dear lover. Your body is so ready to open into the shape of your surroundings. So she wants to pour her feminine water into a container. But with me and others, you have often been encircled by love's lack. I can feel years of love's absence still hardened in your body. And I so want to feel you open and receptive, my love. As I prepared for this call and as I reread this chapter, I can imagine that many men feel this way, men that come into this work. And I can relate to this in the past. I can relate to this when I'm having a terrible day or she's having a terrible day, that love closes down more, that she feels an absence of love and her body hardens in response. And so I would love to feel her open and receive. Now, saying that directly to our woman, as you may suspect, that she will see that as a criticism. I would love to open you more. If the relationship is underwater, if she feels disconnected from you right now, or just in general in the relationship, and you say something like that, I would love for you to open into more femininity, she's going to see that as a criticism, right? This is why we don't want to be the hummingbird, as Steve Horstman would say, calibrated in when we bring these things to her. And we can talk about that today too. If things are great and she's attracted and respects you and in love and she's physically attracted to you and she feels the relationship is going well and above water, in an intimate moment or a connecting moment, you might say, I would love to feel you open to me more during our intimacy, during our connection. And you may say the same exact words in the same exact way, and then she may bloom in response to that verbal and emotional intimacy. So timing is everything, right? And there's many factors here. And that's why we're here to go into this and discuss this. All right. So who has a burning question? Who feels like they want to come in and ask a question?
All right, I'll jump in. I gotta say, I mean, as you know, there's something in there I could relate to for a bit, you know, like this, like, oh, just take her femininity and just shove it, you know, you
Yeah.
oscillate between, you know, being so angry and annoyed and like, well, why do I have to do all this shit? Why can't it just work out? Like, what am I doing? You know, like,
Sure.
and then, you know, those are moments of weakness and work past them, work through them. And then there's moments I have that are like, they're more filled with empathy and pity sometimes, like, wow, you know, she really must be going through some really tough things, and I feel for that, and I, you know, I feel bad that she's doing that and that she feels like she needs to do this all alone, and that, you know, I feel bad that I didn't create a frame for her to be able to feel safe to go through these thoughts and experiences. And then, you know, I'll wake up one morning and, you know, what the fuck's bullshit. You know, like,
Yeah.
like the oscillation
Sure.
back and forth, and like I know what I want to be, and I know that path that I want to be on, but how do you, I don't know, when does it all kind of even out? I mean, is that normal? Is that typical? I mean, does that have those moments of disdain and frustration and weakness,
Sure,
where you're super
sure.
judgy? I mean, is that all
Sure,
part of the game?
absolutely. Absolutely, those are normal. I mean, unless you were a monk before you came into this work, or you somehow are the most even keel man on the planet, in which case you probably didn't seek out this work. I sought this work out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's absolutely normal. Part of that is how much are you seeing yourself as a victim, right?
Right.
How
Yeah,
much are we
totally.
seeing? How much are we feeling like powerless? Are we able to use, let's say, cognitive behavioral therapy, or switch our thoughts, change our mind into a narrative that serves us? How practiced are we at that? How functional are we at that? These kind of things. But yeah, it's absolutely human and normal to have judgy thoughts cross your mind. I have this happen all the time. My son just came back from Hawaii, from vacation in Hawaii, with her and her new man, who she's dated for years at this point, and they all went to Hawaii, which they've done a couple of times now. Great, fantastic, right? When he comes back, he's showing me some pictures from Hawaii, and one of the pictures he went by was all of them singing karaoke together. And
Mm.
I used to sing karaoke with her, right? That was something that we used to do over a decade ago, basically. And I had this flash in my mind of, my mind really wanted to run with that. Like, oh, I don't give a shit if I'm there or not. And I have no like attachment to wanting to be with her. I wish her well. I wouldn't want to be with her regardless. I've told this story a few different ways, a few different times. But my brain definitely had the remembrance, had the memory of being at karaoke with her. So even though there wasn't baggage attached to it, it was still the conscious recognition of karaoke. And my mind wanted to run with it, man. My mind wanted to judge. My mind wanted to feel left out. My mind wanted to feel, in pain. And I quickly shifted the narrative before that even happened, and shifted my energy into a different direction. So how
How
long
did you
it
do
takes?
that?
Yeah, go ahead.
How did you shift that energy? What did you do? What modality did you employ in that moment to shift your?
Sure. So I have lots and lots of practice at this, but first of all was to have gratitude for my own self in this moment. Like, I'm grateful for the connection I have in my life with my son, the man that I am being. And then to have just compassion for her. It's something that she loves to do. Of course she's going to go do that. And I wish her well doing that. And I hope she has fun doing that. Yeah. So I put those things actively in my mind and breathe deeply into my belly. This all may sound trite, but it's a lot harder in practice than it is for me to say, of course, and it takes time. So have you practiced those types of things? Have you brought gratitude into your mind, shift the narrative of for her, like being happy for her, breathing into your belly? Have you practiced those things, Nevin?
Some yes. I still, since day one of this work, I still struggle with the high regard component of it, which again plays into this kind of, sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can totally be in that space, and then a lot of times I'm just like, like, and that's just in there, and I have to just, instead of what's improved is that instead of being upset with myself or judging myself for doing that, I just have to be like, okay, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm working and I'm a work in progress. And I can't be so hard on myself to snap out of this. And I just know that the work is the work. And I got to just accept that, What did happen, actually it happened yesterday. I did have this moment of clarity that happened, and I talked about it on the call with Charlie yesterday, was I had this just total release, something, I mean, it was probably, I'll have several iterations of this throughout the work, but this was like a big one for me, where it all just sunk in that, like, I'm a man on my journey in life, and I'm living life, and I don't have to define anything in my life based on the failure or success of my relationship with any woman or person, like, just to be in my independent masculine. And it just I know we've talked about this now for a long time, but something clicked, something settled yesterday in a way that it hadn't before. And it was really, it was like just in a moment when I was scrolling through memories of the past 6 months with my kids, and I was like, man, I'm living life, I'm doing life. Why do I have to feel like I'm like, I let go of so much in that moment, and it felt really freeing and open.
Yeah, that's really well said. I love that. When we truly are building our life, baking our own cake for ourselves, and whether it's the she of nature that we're exploring at this moment, or the she of penetrating the world, as David might talk about, of bringing our career and our purpose and penetrating the world, the capital she of that type of experience, or a particular woman in front of us, when all of those things are truly icing on our cake. And even if that cake gets dumped on the ground and we can go bake another cake that doesn't have icing on it yet, and we can truly feel that in our body, that's incredibly freeing. And I never even knew of that concept prior to doing this work. I mean, I had no idea that that was even a thing, that I can be in control of my mission, my direction, and that the people in my life are just cherries on top that I can have gratitude for. And if they hurt me, then I make a choice. Then I stand up for a boundary. If they hurt me again, then I make another choice. And if someone continues to hurt me, I may judge them as a bitch or a bad person, and I don't want those types of people in my life any longer. But so let me ask you one more question. Do you feel like she needs to be punished in some way? Because often when we hold this, like fuck her kind of feeling, it's almost as though we feel she needs to be punished or we need to get one back over on her.
Punished? No. I have no vindictiveness towards her. I mean, as of now, is that hiding secretly underneath and may pop out, especially if I find out she's seeing somebody or whatever, that when we get to that stage of things. Is it possible that's in there? Yeah, sure. I'm open to the possibility of that being there, but right now I don't overtly feel any kind of need for her to be punished or anything. I mean, I honestly really truly want her to be happy. I would like for her to be happy with me and our family together as a happy family, but it can't be forced, and I don't want to force it.
Yeah, and of course. How do you feel within your own self as a man in your life? How are things going for you otherwise?
Generally speaking, I mean, I've the past few weeks I've felt more authentically me than I have in half a decade, at least, not more. I feel like I'm finding who I am again. I'm finding who I want to be. Are there still things that I, would like to improve? Yes, the instability of my work and financial and career, that stuff. Yeah, I really want that to even out and next level. But overall, like just internally, I feel so much better about myself and life. Do I have moments of weakness? Yeah, totally. I had one of those a couple weekends ago where I could barely get out of bed, but I got over it and plowed through the next week.
Yeah, I hear you. And I love that you're not judging that you have rough days and that you just honor yourself through those days. That's something that we all experience, I think. And that's okay.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's so much taboo around like men having that kind of, moment. Like, we're fucking human beings. We can have those moments,
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah, the danger comes when we just try to make her our therapist or her our mother.
Yes.
That's the danger. Right?
Yes. No, the men's group and the mentoring men and just friends in general, like it's just been such an amazing, like I've realized I've shunned male companionship and mentorship most of my life, and just having that in my life now has been such a missing component that I never knew that I needed, and it's been key for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nevin. Good to see you, man.
Yep.
Yeah, Julio, come on in, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something up, and I don't know, this has been at least what's happening to me, but even with like memories or even recent things that happened, at least with my wife, we're separated. Like on Easter, it was a good day. Just towards the end of the day, it was kind of rough towards the end of the day. But I kind of just let my emotions go, in my own safe place. And this has happened with other incidents where I don't really show these emotions in front of her, and I'm pretty controlled, and I take them back to my own place. But when I do process like the emotions, like I cry, I get mad. I just let them out. And I don't know if this is normal, but once I do that and I have my, I guess, 30 minutes, hour of just processing or just showing emotion, I'm able to look back at that memory and not feel anything after that. I don't know if that's at least that's something that I'm picking up. At least for myself, it's something that I've been doing.
Yeah, it makes me think, Julio, a huge piece of this work is befriending those parts of ourselves that we've shunned in the past or felt ashamed to bring forward, or we've, suppressed it, shoved it down into the basement. And so what you're doing is processing them yourself. You're coming to terms with it your own self. You're bringing it out so that it's not stuck in shame or insecurity or fear. where you can control yourself. It's impossible to learn a new language if we don't practice it. And that doesn't mean we afflict it on other people at random, right? But you're doing it for your own self. So you're learning to become fluent in your emotional expressions. And you'd rather do that within your own self or here, like Nevin was talking about. So you can befriend that part of yourself. It sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I feel more grounded after something like that, and able to just be more grounded when I am around my wife, or if she tries to criticize me, I know that I'm good. I feel good.
Yeah. Well said. I love it. Thanks for being here, man. Good to see you. So to close us out for tonight, those of you especially that have a question around emotional intimacy or shared vision, or questions about what does a woman want in physical intimacy, I would recommend the book Dear Lover by David Data. I would not recommend this as one of your first few books, though. This is, I'd say, a more advanced book around sensuality, sexuality, and vision. And so if you're not there yet, if you don't have the opportunity to be there yet, this will be more of an intellectual read. But if you're in the space where you do want to practice, for instance, a man on here already said he wrote out, I believe it was Lou, he wrote out what he wants with a woman, right? And Keith as well, what he wants with the woman. And I did this when I was in your spot too. What do I want with a woman? And if you have no idea, this is a book that can start to give you some thoughts or let you know what's possible, right? Again, it's more esoteric. It's more of an advanced book, so keep that in mind. But Dear Lover is a great one.